Monroe County Animal Management Commission meeting to order. First thing on the agenda is approval of the August 7th, 2023 minutes. And the reason for that, our September meeting got canceled because of lack of a quorum. So, has everybody had a chance to look over the minutes from August 7th?
Yes, I'll make a motion to approve.
Second?
Second.
Okay, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed say no, and I'm abstaining because I was not present at August meeting. Okay, new business. We're following up on the Solera from 9/11 meeting.
So, we started hearing the Solari, meeting, presentation there before we got the information to cancel the quorum, because we didn't have a quorum. It did come out during that, it didn't appear that the Solari, due to the injuries and the location, met, any of our potentially dangerous or vicious ordinance. So I would move, I'll go ahead and make a motion, we can, so to go ahead and uphold that discussion from the last meeting and, dismiss the request to declare.
You got a motion, a second?
I'll second.
You got a second? So all those in favor, signify by saying aye. Aye. Those opposed, say nay. And
Abstaining.
we got my abstention. Okay.
I wasn't present at that meeting, so.
Okay, potentially dangerous or vicious. Can't pronounce what last name. That's
Esther,
that.
He's not here, here's CJ. So, Mr. Eastep, and this is his son, CJ Kaiser. Both of their dogs were involved in this. Due to circumstances, Mr. Eastep, Mr. Kaiser will, represent both dogs on that. He said.
Okay, so this is, you're representing both dogs, so, I would, if it makes sense, I would make a motion that we hear the case together, and then we can discuss separately. So this is, are they all running at large together? Is that the issue?
The two dogs were.
The two dogs were owned by different people.
Oh, okay, so they're both, 2 and 3 are together, are same?
They're different dogs, different owners, similar incidents. Some of the same things.
and are
Yeah, I can
same
explain that.
goat? I mean, same goat owners?
Yes.
Okay.
That's my understanding.
Okay,
I'm okay with that.
All right.
And different citations issued? Or is the same citation for both on one?
There are different citations.
Okay,
Due to two different owners.
okay.
So, did you actually make a motion, or do you think we should have a
I mean,
motion?
I don't know that we need a motion for it,
Yeah.
but I would say we should go ahead and hear the presentation of both at the same time.
Okay, I agree.
Got without objection.
So, I think this is your change, Diane?
Yeah.
Okay, it's there for me, so, yeah.
So, on or about, July 30th, the call went out to dispatch that, two dogs killed the, complainant's two goats. Officer Winter went out, he took the initial call, filled out a report, sent it to me, followed up the following day. Winter went out, he found that, spoke to the CP, Breton, and that's your wife, correct, he spoke to. This Mr. Breton, it was his goats that were killed. His wife did witness the two dogs killing the goats. In her statement, she knows the dogs, she's familiar with the dogs, she sees them out fairly often and knows where they belong. So she was an eyewitness to the dogs and, again, been familiar and knowing the dogs. So I went and talked to Mr. Eastep, which one of the dogs was his. When I got Mr. Eastep, his dog running around. We're talking, here it comes walking down the road in the direction where the goats went. Granted, this is a couple days after the fact, but nonetheless. Mr. Eastep said that, yeah, his dog gets out, it pretty much roams the neighborhood and, admitted that his dog does get off property fairly often. And he informed me that his son, CJ, lives next door. I guess after I asked about CJ, his student had written, told me that it was, Mr. Eastep and CJ's dog. Going over there and was on, nonetheless, I got the door notice, to come. They called me the next day, no, I went back the next day and spoke to Miss Elton. And, both parties allowed me to take pictures of the dogs. I showed the dogs Miss Breeden. He's like, absolutely, these are the dogs that done this. So that's kind of where we're at this one.
Question?
Total of 2 dogs involved or 3?
2 dogs involved. One, Mr. Eastep, and the other belonging to Mr. Paxton.
Spanky and. I think it was
Dodge.
Spanky and Dodge, okay.
And we're not dealing with any injuries to people during the event, after the event, or any other time.
No, just the goats that was killed on their property where the goats stayed.
So I see in the packet that there are multiple citations for Mr. Kuiper Dodge on different dates, but they were all issued on the same day. What's the story behind that?
So these other citations were violations of being at large. I've received pictures, timestamp pictures on these dates. Mr. Kuiper's dog didn't large.
Because one of the things we're being asked to consider is the offender, and so we need to know that it's occurred on multiple days. So thank you.
Any other questions for Jeffrey? Anybody who wants to speak on this matter? Anybody else?
Are you like Mr.
Yeah.
Kuiper?
If you want to speak, if you do, please step up here and take a floor.
My name is Charles Fletcher. The multiple dates of the dog being at large, does he have like the pictures of all that and stuff, or?
We don't have that in our packet. We'll probably have the citations. Sorry. I can,
Or that's you got pictures of the citations.
Or
I can give you a copy of the packet. Yeah.
Pictures of the citations, the pictures of the
Picture
dogs.
of the dog.
both,
Okay.
The citations are in there,
okay,
but we don't have copies of the photos.
or the goats, how that was they, does he have pictures of dead goats or anything like that, or? Because he came to my house and told me he got pictures of the dog, and then he said if he didn't come back, then we was in the clear or something, I can't quite remember, but it was something like that. And he never did come back. So, and then now here we are today.
You answering this question?
Yes, as far as pictures, I do have pictures of the goats, I have pictures of the at-large. Unfortunately, they were texted to me on my other phone that I did not bring with me.
Okay.
But I'll be glad to get you copies of those, to identify the dog with those particular days and times. And as far as, when I spoke to Miss Elmore originally, the first, she stated to me that the neighbor to Miss Breeden has a dog that looks about like hers. And that neighbor admitted that her dogs got out and killed the goats. I spoke to that neighbor, she's like, I have no idea where she would have got that from. My dogs, they don't go out, they're outside trying to do it, they will never say the time. Miss Breeden says, is this a possibility? She says, absolutely not. I know the dog next door, I know that it was not that dog. Said I witnessed this, I was standing right there whenever they done this, it was not the dog next door. It was CJ's dog and Mr. Eastep.
And then you received the video that showed Dodge on her property.
more than one occasion.
Okay. Okay, I see that.
Anything else? Okay,
Need to ask, is there any question or any doubt that, there were two goats killed in this incident?
No.
You're the one.
There's been more than two goats.
There's two.
This
come on up, take the full name.
Sean Breton, there's been more than two goats, but this last time this is when we reported it. I just shoved it off to,
The only reason I asked, I'm not doubting it, is we weren't there.
yeah,
Yeah, we're not,
Gotcha.
yeah, we're not from the district, so.
yeah.
So you've had incidents before, and you
Yeah.
chose just to kind of take it
Thought it
as
was coyotes.
something, okay.
Neighbor's pig was attacked. Then I think it was the second pair of goats I called. I don't know if it was him or what, called him about it, and he's like, well, just go ahead and get cameras, all that stuff, and unfortunately, we didn't get cameras in time to get the last pair that were killed.
Thanks.
According to the ordinance, dangerous dog is any animal when off the property owned, occupied or controlled by the owner or the guardian of the animal. When unjustified, causes severe injury or injuries leading to the death of a domestic pet or domestic livestock. So, if we are to consider a declaration, against, one or both of the dogs, dangerous would seem to be the appropriate declaration.
Oh, come on up, come on, yeah, sorry. Go ahead, take the full name.
Jessica Elmore. I'm Dodge's mom, I guess.
Have a seat.
Yeah.
I understand that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Where-
So the neighbor just stated that there was multiple times and saying that the last pair, we didn't get cameras in time for last pair we killed. Well, whenever he came to our property and told us about this in the first place, he said that there were 6 goats killed and that our dog, he knew our dog from previous incidences with the neighbors and their pigs. And that's when we tried saying like, that wasn't our dog. And so I'm just confused as to where 6 goats came from. And then now it's a different occasions with separate, goats. Granted, yeah, I'm not saying that our dog, he has video and whatever of our dog and Spanky killing the goats. I'm just confused as to how many incidences and how many goats were there altogether.
So this right here, what we have is for 2 goats. There may have been prior goats killed, as he was saying, but that's not what the ticket is for. It was after those goats killed that they called and they started watching. So what this ticket is for 2 goats.
Because he even said he didn't recall and report.
He didn't call and report the other ones. They may have happened, but he didn't call and report them. So for tonight, we're talking about 2 goats.
Okay, so when he came to our house and said there were 6 goats,
Could have been how many have died the whole time, which we don't know, because all we can deal with was what he has reported. And so he started reporting evidently after 4 goats were killed, I'm guessing. He started and now he's had 2 more. So the tickets are for the 2 goats.
okay, and then, see what I can, from just having Dodge is Spanky's son, so he's came from a litter from Spanky. And, so we have a kitten and everything, and like, Spanky kind of is like the insinuator, and he's just, I don't know,
So
but I don't think Dodge is like, I don't know, he's not the vicious one, like the one that goes after him, he just kind of follows.
Yeah, unfortunately, a lot of times that pack mentality takes over
Yeah.
them. So do you know, are your dogs getting off your property?
They were, Dodge was, yeah. Spanky, we have no control over, he's his dad and but, at that time, around that time, yeah, he was getting off the property, but since then, all this has happened, he hasn't gotten loose or anything since then.
What have you done to keep that from happening?
Well, we have a cage and we, got the area cleared out for us to bring the cage over. It's a big tall one. It's like 6 foot, I think, or something. Cause he said that we had to put him in a kennel.
Mhm.
So we got that and we've just been keeping him up until we can get that over, cause it's on the other side of the hill and it's like, it's really hard to get out right now. So we've been trying, I've been going over there and clearing it out to get it, move it and everything and take it apart. And, so we got all that ready. We just gotta do, go over there and do it. We work all the time but we just keep him up at the front now of our house instead, cause we used to have him like down the driveway a little bit. And so now we keep him right at the front and he doesn't like go anywhere. And I got him a harness instead of a collar,
You can just look out.
Yeah, so that helps a lot.
Does, so
And we
does
keep
Spanky
him-
come to your house, cause you're next door, right?
Yeah,
Okay, so Spanky comes to your house
yes,
and then Dodge and Spanky take off.
yes.
Okay, does Dodge ever go to Spanky's house?
Just when they come back. Yeah, just when they come back and then he'll call us and say, oh, Dodge is here and we'll go get him and stuff, but no, Dodge isn't. It's always, cause Spanky always is over at our house. He's always laying in the yard, like that's just where he lays all day, every day. And, he's in the road all the time and they, people drive by and it's just, but when Dodge sees him out there, he's like, and he gets off and that's exactly what they do. They get off and they run. And then they're back in like 2 or 3, 4 hours. Every time they come back. Yeah.
Any other questions?
I have a question for the officer. This can seem like an act. What kind of goats were you talking about? Are they?
No idea, the last ones were, I think pygmy goats,
Smaller.
smaller, versus the, were 40, 50 pounds.
We have, for commission, the reason I asked him. In the ordinance as written, this could qualify as potentially dangerous or dangerous. So it kind of, we have some flexibility between that with the death of a pet, so. I'm trying to wrap my mind around when you have 2 dogs running at large and the death of another, which one to put this under.
So the one, so tell me the difference, because one is causes injuries leading to death. Okay, so is it because of determining if this was the first or?
I mean, it's just, again, this ordinance and the flexibility between the dangerous and potentially dangerous was to help distinguish between, say, a dog killing another dog or a dog killing a cat.
Mhm.
So, that's kind of, so that's where we have the flexibility, and with goats are definitely bigger, than a half,
Gotcha.
so I'm trying to, in my mind, figure out which way to go with that.
Gotcha, I see.
Yeah. I see that now, potentially dangerous. Potentially dangerous means any animal off property owned. Which when unjustified causes severe injury or causes injury leading to death of domestic pet or livestock. The code is intentionally ambiguous to allow for flexibility issues
Mhm.
based on the circumstances, the history of whether it was previous, that it was past behavior. So, yeah.
And so then the difference we have between potential and dangerous. Is they must, either way, they have to be kept indoors or in a secure enclosure. Dangerous, you have to put up signs. Dangerous, the AMO has to approve. Children cannot trespass on top of it. You have to have a sign that says dangerous.
Muzzling alteration.
And when they're off, the muzzle must be altered. And all of them must be microchipped. Okay. Are Dodge and Spanky neutered? Or spayed? Okay.
Are other than microchip.
I don't think so.
Okay.
I don't know about thinking.
I don't know about Frankie. Yeah.
Um, Where we're coming from here is, it's a public safety thing. Monroe County, as big as it is, and as rural as many parts of it are, the laws in Monroe County don't allow us to let our dogs just run at large. They have to be, indoors or in our yard. How we keep them in our yard is up to us. But they can't run at large, unless they're on your property. It's to avoid confrontations with other people or pets or domestic livestock that result in injury or death, or dogs running across roads causing accidents when drivers try to avoid and all that. This isn't meant to be a lecture. It isn't. It's just the reason why, if either or both of these dogs are getting declared, there's a lot of stuff about the dogs have to be kept on property. If they're not out with an adult, they have to be in an enclosure that they can't escape from. We're talking about like a kennel, 6 sides, top, bottom, left, right, front, back. How big, how small it is, it's up to you, but it has to be, and depending on whether the dog, we're not considering vicious. But if we were considering vicious, then there'd be restrictions on, on muzzles and signage and the AMO that come out and double check and make certain enclosure is okay and all that. But that's where we're coming from. If the dogs have gone off property and have interacted with and caused the death of somebody else's pets or livestock or property, it's property right state, then there are consequences to make certain that doesn't happen again. So that's what we're dealing with here. We're trying to this isn't a court of law. We're trying to get down to trying to understand the situation as best as we can. The facts they presented to us, again, like I said, we weren't present, so we're basing our judgment on what happened on what the officers have reported, what's in the packet before us, what we heard everybody say. But we're doing the best we can to be fair to everybody, the owners of the dogs, the owners of the goats, and the citizens at large. So that's where we're coming from. So off my soapbox.
Can I add, before you go further? First of all, Richard Dog, was he named Fox before? No, okay. So last year, July, the reason I bring this up is because of what you said. Mr. Eastep owned 2 dogs. One was Hoss, one was Rebel. Those dogs attacked 2 hogs and killed them. Just a few days later, they attacked a log. Before we could set anything with the meeting, Mr. Eastep said that one dog, Hoss, did not live there. It's not there any longer. It's with his son in another county, another state, somewhere else that's away from here. But not much I can do about that, but we was going to pursue with Rebel. And Mr. Eastep brought Rebel in here, he was deceived. So I don't know if somebody shot his dog or how the dog ended up dead, but it was. So we've had history with them in the past, not that's coming from the Animal Management Commission, but there has been previous issues. I had any issues with Mr. Kaiser and his dog that I know of. I'm not saying that it's one of those dogs, but in Mr. Eastep's case, this has been an ongoing problem.
How long ago was that previous incident with the?
July of last year, you said?
July of last year, July 14. When we killed the 2 hogs.
And that dog's name is Boss.
Boss.
Yeah, BOSS.
Okay.
I'm just looking at conditional offender, whether, we've not been considered, we've not been asked to consider that. But, for instance, in the last 24 months from, animals owned by the same individual, would have us possibly consider whether, Mr. Eastep would qualify as an individual offender. And, but, yeah, so.
Right, and it was all around the background. I don't even recall there was citations issued and the way that things played out.
Right.
It kind of took care of itself.
Any further discussion?
I have a slight tendency to look at the dog as two separate rules. With, Mr. Eastup's dog being, Spanky being declared, dangerous. And your dog's name? Dodge, I'm sorry, Dodge being declared potentially dangerous. And my reasoning for it is, I feel like there is some effort being made by the Kaisers to kind of remedy Dodge from getting out and getting off. The fact that Mr. Eastup's not here, that his dog has a tendency to probably be the runner, because that's the one you said when you stopped, it actually was coming up the road.
Yeah.
So we know flat out it gets out.
And on Mr. Eastup's behalf, he cannot be here, his wife had a stroke and he,
Oh.
her caregiver,
Okay,
he could not leave the property.
okay,
He informed me of that beforehand, and Mr. Drexel.
okay, well, that's good to know. Do we know if he has taken any steps towards anything?
The last time I was out there, a month ago, about the time of the last meeting. There
He
was-
had called to inform you that.
No, I'm not having any other complaints either.
Have you seen the dogs out running lately? You haven't seen them?
I've seen black dog just lay on his driveway, so.
Okay.
Not my house.
And the black one is Spanky?
Yeah.
Okay. You know, I'm all about good behavior. And if you make an effort, I want to give you a shot. But I'm also not about, can't keep your animals on your property, and especially if you know that they do things. And have repeatedly done things. That's where I'm kind of like, you know, I mean, at the end of the day, we all have a responsibility in this community to make sure everybody gets to have the livelihoods they want to and the animals they want to and all those types of things. So I think in this particular case, I think I'm still in the same way. I think I would look at, taking Dodge as potentially dangerous and classifying Spanky as dangerous.
Give them the testimony as Becky being the instigator, is that what you're kind of going on?
Okay.
And the fact that there is at least some effort that we know is being done on the one side.
So we have a motion,
The motion, but I don't have a second yet.
so,
I'll keep motioning on the.
okay, motion and second.
Just a point of order, I would recommend that there be two motions, one for each dog.
Okay,
Given that they're different owners.
okay. So I would make a motion that
Who your
Dodge,
first motion?
oh yeah, I'll pull my first motion. I'll make a motion, my first motion is being pulled. I would make a motion that Dodge be declared potentially dangerous.
Second.
Yeah.
You got a second, okay. All those in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, say no. Motion carries.
And Valerie, before you go on to, Rebel,
No, Spanky.
thank you. That dog does not seem to have a bit of aggression in it to me. It's more just laid back and seems to go with the flow. So I just wanted to bring that up. It's just kind of a lazy dog. Most of the time we get up and wander off, and I think it's more of a pack mentality that when the two are together, that I don't think that just what I've seen from that dog that he's aggressive. Or she.
A potentially dangerous declaration on Spanky would still require that Mr. Eastep keep the dog indoors or in a secure enclosure. And it would give us the flexibility of, if there are later incidents of
And moving it up.
moving up. It's harder to move down than it is to move up.
Mhm.
So, I'll make a motion in light of the, character witness, from Officer West. I make a motion that Spanky, be declared potentially dangerous.
Okay, have a motion and a second. Declare second, potential dangerous, all those in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, by saying no, motion carries.
I would watch for habitual. Cause I think it's looming.
So,
I do as well.
so we do have a habitual declaration,
Not really, not those people.
Yeah.
Oh,
or who's, I did, sorry. Those requests for that as well.
it is.
And that's based on, and I don't know if you want some more, that's based on the at-large tickets.
To continue being at large and
That-
citations issued.
And those citations were all issued at the same date for previous things, right? Or
That is
there's
correct, it was all up at the same
Okay.
time. Yes, I went back and forth trying to get Mr. Crozer and, so finally I just took all that I had and that's the only story.
Okay, so you have. Right, so yeah, there's, you do have history of reaching out or was. Looking back through the case. Okay.
All right, I've been out there a couple different times, I've gone over to, I've tried to call several times.
We have $425 shield, right? In citations for at large.
Sounds about right. If that one may have been raised as well, I have to go back.
Yeah, I think so. It was public nuisance at large.
You know, I'm of the opinion that, with the steps the coaches have taken, that if there are future instances, the habitual offender, threshold would still have been satisfied in the future, if there's another case in the future. I'd be willing to take a wait and see attitude and, I mean, just take no action at this time. And if there are future citations and all that, then certainly, you know, if there were 3 or 4 citations in the last 90 days, there'll certainly be 3 or 4 citations in the next 2 years. I'm not conveying the thought accurately
Well,
here.
I mean, I agree with you in the sense that also when you're looking at, change and the process, we now have. Tried to reach out, didn't work, hit the tickets.
Yeah.
So that was the second step, so I think because the tickets have been levied, that's a chance for change to happen, and I'd be fine, again. Agree with you that not taking action and not approving individual offender this time just makes sense.
Just not taking action on individual.
Or just denying the motion at this time,
Okay.
and it doesn't mean that if, you know, one more instance happens, you can come right back.
Yeah. I mean, the fact is, it's 3 or more instances in 24-month period. If the first of these cited instances were this summer, then we're looking at any citation between now and the summer, 2 years from now. We would still have 3 or more citations in a 24-month period. So basically, the sort of Damocles is already there. And,
Nice
I
reference.
haven't used that reference in a long time. So what I, and it's up to you guys, but what I'd recommend is, either not hearing, dismissing, or not finding, the characters habitual at this time.
Well, the ticket issue, the official offender, will be dismissed then?
The tickets would all stay.
Yeah, the tickets would stay. Okay. Because they're not being, to my knowledge, they're not being appealed tonight.
Okay.
It's just the, habitual offender, I would.
Okay,
take
so
a
the
wait and see
tickets
attitude.
stand. The tickets stand, they just are appealing, okay. Sorry, I thought they were appealing.
And
No,
just to be
habitual
clear,
offender is between sheriff's department and us.
Mhm.
You know, they're asking us to consider it, I'm saying.
when they got those tickets, they got them all at once.
I'm sorry,
When you let those tickets, they got them all in one. throw.
yes,
So really, the only time technically they could start addressing it. If they didn't get each other messages, didn't benefit that would be when they got those tickets. But we still have. within a 24-month period, if there's another instance, so,
In a sense.
Yeah.
They were notified before this continued to happen. But I agree, I mean, if the dog's at large, I think it's a violation of it. Potentially dangerous, so there's bigger issues than just the.
I'm curious as to, was Mr. Eastep not, considered a habitual offender as well?
No, did not have enough, did not have the 3 violations.
Okay.
I believe it was 2.
So on number 4, new business, is there a motion to dismiss or what?
Sure, I'll make a motion to dismiss the habitual offender, request.
If I have a second? Second, okay. Okay, all those in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, say nay.
Nay.
Got 1 nay. Ken, is there anything that they need to know about what they need to do with the dogs? They've been potentially dangerous.
Yeah, potentially dangerous, you'll be contacted by county legal, to start anything, but basically, according to the ordinance, the only thing is the dogs have to be kept indoors, or if they're outside on their own, they have to be in a secure enclosure. That's it. You know, there's, AMO doesn't have to prove that the dog has to stay inside, it could be based on, whether you comply with not space and whether the dog gets out or not. And if there's another citation, if somebody sees the dog and reports it, there'll be a citation, and then we'll be back here. And then the habitual offender thing might come back up again, if it's still out there, and so.
So if they go off leash or off property, they have to be on a 6-foot leash, nothing more than, and has to be under control of an adult. That's it. And you need to get a microchip. Which they can do here at the animal shelter, actually.
Is there a forecast? Will be coming up next week?
October 8th, isn't it?
October 8th, but they want to.
Any questions for us? Okay, cool.
Thank you.
all for being here. You're welcome to stay if you're the rest of this fascinating stuff, you know.
Okay, item number 5, a Victor Friendly request for Holland. Is this yours, Dan?
Yes. That collar, you said,
Yes.
yeah, we've, At Howard, we've had several instances where dogs get large, he continues to let his dog go, how the dog ends up at large, I can't think how that happens, but nonetheless, it happens fairly often. The dog has been to the shelter multiple times and was required to be altered and microchipped. That was done within the past 24 months. He's been issued citations on 4 different occasions for at large.
Yeah. And the most recent was July.
I guess Mr. Howard knew about the meeting tonight.
Yeah, we got a
He
letter.
had notice sent, and the thing of it is with Mr. Kreitzer and Mr. Howard are good friends. He's at his house all the time with his dog, so he's there with his dog more often.
Okay.
So that just happens to be a coincidence.
Well, make a motion to declare Mr. Holler as a habitual offender based on defeated at large by the citations.
I'll second.
Have a motion, have a second. All those in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, signify by saying no. Motion passes.
All right, what are we doing?
This-
Okay.
Going on to reports and discussion.
So we have to decide what to do about it.
We have our options, what to declare.
Find the owner twice a month of the Class C ordinance. Require the owner, fix the problem. Remove the pet from the owner. Prohibit the owner from acquiring any new animals for a period of up to 3 years, and or require he take a responsible pet owner course. Those are the options.
Can we do more than one option?
Yeah. Okay, can take any of those options.
Okay,
Used to be a or other, we don't have an other anymore, so those are, it's like the Chinese, three you can call, you know, and before you get it rolled. So double a Class D ordinance violation, required to make them fix it, like build a fence, you know, remove ownership rights.
Has that dog and any other things hurt anybody or any other animal livestock?
Not that I'm aware of. The dog can be intimidating. But I've not had any personal issues as far as if I was to go pick him up and get him in the truck to bring him here. You know, there was one call here at the park and the lady was scared that she had a child there and the dog she thought was acting aggressive. I have no proof of that, but it is even, the kids called it on that particular call, so I think that's not one to be excited for.
What's the total amount?
We're just ran at large tickets.
It lives in Smithville proper.
It would be $75. Because 3 times, $25 times 3.
Yeah, since he's altered now.
I would select that he pay the fine and that he be told to fix the problem.
Have you been to the property where he keeps the dog? Is this an issue of it running off the property? Do we know, or is it just he doesn't leash it when he leaves?
The thing is, he lives in Smithville, it's not always large in Smithville. I've got it down on South Old State Road 37, and he lives at Smithville, Strain Ridge, right in that area there. It's been a large. Sorry, I don't call it, it's not always just in that area, so wherever he goes, I take it, he just lets it all run.
I would add the responsible pet ownership platform to that too.
Okay,
Be a good first.
Yeah.
First try.
So you want to take that whole motion out?
I would make a motion that, in order to satisfy the habitual offender, that the fine stay in place of $75, that he be required to fix the problem and restrain the dog on his property or keep the dog from being at large. 3, that he be required to take a responsible pet ownership course.
Okay, got a motion, you got a second?
You should probably clarify that when he takes the dog with him off property, he's got to find a way to restrain the dog, whether it's on a leash if he pulls, or whether he takes a tether with him and nails it into the ground, or finds a friendly neighbor who's got a fence he can toss the dog into. But when he takes the dog at large with him, that the dog doesn't get to roam freely. As long as he's a mannequin.
You come back again.
We have a motion and second, all those in favor, so by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, say nay. Motion passes. Is that all the business now with that? On to report and, president, first one is animal shelter.
Animal shelter's been often, we're still seeing a lot of need, a lot of intake. We are also still operating under delay with spay neutering animals before they're adopted, so we're almost caught up to our backlog, but it's probably gonna be a month before we get completely caught up there. We had a very successful adoption event on Friday where we waived adoption fees for cats and dogs, and then as part of that advertisement, we had a donor pay for adoption fees starting Saturday all through this week. So they're covering, we're asking people to pay for. We have some people that have chosen to pay their adoption fees, so our hope is to kind of keep pushing that as much as we can to kind of get animals out the door, and it's been, Lisa can attest, weekend was popping. And so we're doing much better now. That's all.
It was kind of crazy, we run with the animal shelter with 1 dog for adoption. It was like, what happened? And they were like, they all got adopted.
I mean, that explains a lot of our issues. We for like events like that,
Yeah.
the animals that aren't picked or aren't selected to adopt aren't spayed and neutered yet. And so we've been taking intact animals to events, which isn't always a good thing to do.
Well, I suppose if, you're running low on adoptable animals, then having intact animals might help.
We are not running low.
Okay.
Let me just clarify.
Yeah.
We've been utilizing a waiting list system for our owner surrenders. So owner surrenders take up about half of all of our intake, a little bit more. We're still around 70 individual requests for cats and 70 individual requests for dogs, of people waiting to get their animals in. So we are not anywhere short to be caught up.
Okay.
We're gonna get through it. Okay. Dan, you got anything?
No, we're doing our part, to keep the shelter full. We have bought several animals in the past couple of months.
Legal, Molly, you have anything for us?
I don't think so.
Okay. All right, that's, concludes the annual mission meeting to today.
Motion to adjourn.
Okay.
Anybody opposed?
No. I do want to let you know, I'm on the UDO ordinance committee